Oh, oops. Hello. Everybody, we are joined by the fabulous Allison Lane today And Allison, thank you so much for joining us. For our viewers who might be new to me and this whole thing, Front Row CEO that we keep talking about, let me remind you what is going on. So I'm Jen Lehner. I am a digital marketing and systems strategist, and I help people find their perfect match virtual assistants. And specifically, right now, what we have been talking about is a program that helps you do that. I've gotten some emails this morning from people who are new to my brand and to what I offer. And there's some confusion. Like they're asking me, do you have an agency? Do you match me with people? No, this is better than that because I give you the tools that you need. It's a program. Front Row CEO is a program, but really more than that, it is a system. So the content, there's videos in there that are super short. They're like 5 minutes long max. But along with the videos, there's templates and checklists and scripts. So it's very, very plug and play. And the reason I say it's better is because better than an agency, because yeah, it's a little more work in the front end, but a lot less work in the end. And you're going to have the person who's going to be with you inside your business for years versus getting a contractor, going with an agency. The person isn't right, having to go back to the drawing board. We don't want that for you. I didn't want that for myself, which is why I created this whole thing. So, right. So now I love your yellow chair, Allison. So I would like to, Allison, I'm going to pass the microphone over to you and ask you to, first of all, tell us a little bit about your business, what you do, and your journey towards hiring your first virtual assistant.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Allison Lane Literary. I am a marketer for authors and people who should be. And
your microphone, where's your microphone?
Oh, it's right here. Hello.
Scooch it. Can you scooch it closer to you?
Yes. What's up? Is that better?
Scoot it closer.
Even closer?
You don't want it to show? It's pretty.
Well, it's so far away. Hold on. How's that? Is that better?
Keep talking and I'll let you know. Okay, start over.
Okay. Is this better?
Yes, but you don't have to.
In this case, I clearly need to rearrange my entire.
There you go. It's perfect. It's perfect now.
Awesome. Thank you for the tech update.
Oh yes, such an update.
Yeah. Okay, I'm Allison Lane. I'm a marketer for authors and people who should be, which means that everyone has an expertise, whether it's through experience or through being some sort of doctor or expert in something. Like Jen is an expert digital strategist, but also she's an expert through doing. So she's just an incredible expert. So when I say marketer, I help people get book deals. Once they get a book deal, I help them prepare for their book launch, which is never truly about the book. It is about your brand. The book is the product, you are the brand, and beyond. And when I came to Jen, I actually learned about her through another podcast. And as I listened to her talk about a VA, I thought that's for fancy people. And then a year later, I was still struggling with the same stupid, dumb, just the same tasks that I'm not good at, and they were still bleeding me dry of time and energy and money. And for me, those things are tech, but for someone else, that could be anything else. And I just thought, if I have to do one more thing by myself and become an expert in something I don't want to be an expert in, I'm going to lose my poo. So I sought Jen out, and she explained to me how simple having a VA you could turn to could be, and that it actually can work. And I was about to enroll in one of those like services, and they swear that everyone's so happy, and I just thought, I need more hand holding. I don't want to be a fish in a very large sea, and I just get sort of put in the queue. I need a community that I can go back to, because otherwise I get caught up in the swirl. Mm. And that's why I knew that Jen's program was right for me. And also I'm very obedient, but I also get, I'll do what she says, but then I get busy. And we all want to thrive in doing what our superpower is, right? Now, I don't want my superpower to be web management. I cannot emphasize this enough. Right. So yeah, I went through the program, and it was, first of all, it was so empowering to say, I'm doing this. I was like, well, I just felt like I am legit, and I'm going to find someone who can immediately identify with what I need, that they will feel a rapport with my mission, which is different than hiring just a service who just sends you a social media person. Like, I want somebody who feels like they're part of my team, not coming in and like a mechanic. Like, I love BMWs, I'm going to fix yours, and then I'm leaving. I want somebody who's embedded, right? And I went through that, and I was so surprised. I got 100 applicants in a 24-hour period, and Jen told us that's going to happen, and she was prepared for that. So I didn't have to talk to 100 people. They went right into the test task, and 60 of them did not pass that. And I had a template waiting for them that Jen wrote. It just comes in the process. She anticipated every step. At the end of the program, I found the woman who works with me today. I started 10 hours a week, and then I went to 12 to 15. I said, it's okay if you work more than that. And now she's full-time with me. And since then, I've hired another person, because my business within 2 months exceeded all of my revenue by 5 times. So my monthly revenue expanded times 5 in 2 months. So it's not really the initial investment. It's how many people can you help with your business? And that was the driver for me. I want to be able to do more and touch more people. And I can't do that if I'm having to fix website links. And that is what I'm still working on. In fact, I just got off the horn with my VA, Regina. She just popped in like, "Can we talk for a sec?" Yeah, we're just in constant contact.
Okay, so amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I want to ask you, like, when you jumped from part-time to full-time, like, was your initial thinking that you just wouldn't have enough tasks? I mean, I hear people say that a lot. They're just like, I just don't think I have enough to keep a virtual assistant busy. So what did that look like in real terms, like in your business, to go from thinking you only need 10 to 15 to jumping to full time?
Well, the truth there is surprising. I had to realize that there were a lot of efforts that I hadn't begun to touch. And I thought, oh, I just need them to do what I've been doing. And it's untrue.
Mm.
There are, I was having to manage some software that immediately my VA said, "Do you realize that we're spending 3 times as much because we have this hard to use software? And so then we still pay someone to help manage it. And then it takes up your time and my time. So we add those hourly rates together." And I said, "No, I did not realize that. Let's not do that anymore." And she said, "Okay, well, this is going to be the transition period. I'm going to manage this." And I said, literally, "I do not want to have to talk about this again. And don't ask me questions because I'm not going to be any help." And she's, "Yep, good." So it doesn't happen overnight. That's a project, which she identified all the steps and she did it, and now it's done. We are free of that. I mean, hallelujah, we're free of that. And that's the sort of thing where she found an opportunity to streamline something that's, painful as an operator, but also really doesn't help deliver something to the customer. If the customer is seeing something that looks hard or that looks too fancy, then they smell that too, of like, that smells like a mess. I don't really
Right.
love the experience. So it's not that it's suddenly expanded. It's that my VA identified opportunities for growth and for improved client service that I hadn't even thought of. And every time we do that, it frees me up to take on more lucrative projects, to have conversations with, um, bigger opportunities, and I mean, it's just been amazing.
People always want to know, people always want to know the specifics of the tasks that we are outsourcing. Can you share some of the specific things that your team is doing for you that you don't have to mess with anymore?
Sure, sure. At first, I started with, please go into my Google Drive and make it make sense, because it's one thing to organize things your own way, and when you have a team, it needs to be organized differently, because you are not going to be the one, searching for the headshot that then goes on your website. It's going to be someone else, and they need to make sense of it. And then we made structure where I had a structure of one, right? And so that meant that I had probably a third of the files and content that I had were old, outdated, never going to be used. So we needed to clean that up. That took her, 2 days maybe. It was so fast. And I thought, I've been
Awesome.
doing this for a year. The thing that is hard for me is simple for her. So we did that. So right at then she very nicely noticed, your website does not reflect the energy that you bring. Do you mind if I go in there and polish it a little? I said, have at. I look good in green. I mean, I have no input. Nothing I say can help. I'm like, I don't. What's my favorite color? It doesn't matter. It's what looks good. So a week later, I was looking at. I said, also, do not do a draft for me. Just make the changes. I'm sure it'll be great. And even though I said that, she did make a look sheet for me. Like, I'm going to take inspiration from this site and this site. Are you okay with that? I said, yes, everything you do is magic. And she did it, and I thought, wow, she was able to capture that, and she really understood. Now we spent a lot of time together. I was still talking to her and having to encourage her to take those steps and to step into to be authorized to speak to me like that, to say, hey, I see this issue, or I see this problem, and culturally, someone who reports to you doesn't always feel comfortable saying that. They think you're the boss and you need to tell me what to do. I don't want to have to tell her what to do. And it's a process of learning how to work together. But it's social media, find cost savings in my budget, find cost savings in how efficient I can be. Let me walk you through how I work one-on-one with clients, find efficiencies there, what can be templated, what can be automated, manage my calendar so that it's easier for everyone. So it's not just that she's doing, she's always improving. And that's why it's not like I said, now I want you full time. It's that the work she was doing made us be able to go faster all the time.
I love that. And a lot of people will ask for this program, they always ask me, like, how much time do I need to invest? And I could never really answer that question, because we have some people who have blitzed through this process and literally had, from beginning to end, had a VA working for them in the paid trial week within a week and a half of the day of posting their ad. And I'm always very upfront about the fact that this is work. Like, you're going to have to do the work, but it's simple. You do not have to think, and you especially don't need to overthink, because all the tools are there. Like you said, you just do what I tell you to do. Like, I'm saying, do this, and then you do that. You have the words. I give you every single thing you need, but you do have to take the time to do the things that I'm telling you to do. So it's simple, not easy. And so I'll ask you, Allison, like, how much time did it take for you, and what were your thoughts around that at the time?
This is a really important point. And I want to, for all of those people out there who think, I'm not good at the details, I'm telling you, I'm not good at the details. So Jen is being nice when she says, it is simple. It's very simple. However, if you're coming at this like I didn't have a documented processes at all, which meant I had to depend on Jen's templates, which for me were like my life force. I had to depend on what other people had used successfully, because and then customize it. If Jen had sent over an empty template without the steps, or make all the steps document all the steps you use to develop social posts, I would have been like, I don't know, I just do it. But no, following every single step and taking the time to customize it, like I sort of do it like that, but I would prefer to do it like this. But also, I want input from my VA, because they're going to be doing it. I really had to work at it, because my inclination is to just hand somebody something and say, you figure it out. You can't do that with someone who's around, who's just starting with you. You really have to devote some time. So for me, I had to devote probably an hour every other day, sometimes an hour a day, to just documenting the things that I had never documented. And if I could do it again, I think I would have I would have identified uh, the three processes that well, if I had to do it again, I would follow more of Jen's advice.
Well,
With
all roads ended up leading to Regina, and then now your second virtual assistant. Um, and what's been interesting for me to watch, as I see you on social media because I follow you, and you shout her out often, and you give her kudos, and you're very appreciative to her, and it feels like you formed a bond faster than most, I would say. What do you think is, I mean, I always think people can get there. And of course, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, is that I want people to have a true, a true partner in their business and someone who has their back. But what I always say, people see me with Nika and they're just like, well, I want that, and I want it yesterday. And the thing is, like, it takes time to develop that relationship, like any relationship. So it happens over the course of time. Um, but I would say, like, you got there you have gotten there sort of faster than most. What do you think is responsible for that? I mean, what do you attribute that to?
mm,
I mean, I know what I'm going to say, if you don't say it.
well, I the reason why my first VA and I have had this bond is we spent considerable time being ourselves and not being in a transactional relationship. Do
Mhm.
this, now do that. We spent time in Zooms together. I want to know what her life is like, what her goals are, what she enjoys doing, what doesn't she enjoy doing, and those are the things that maybe we'll outsource or maybe we'll put off for later, because when you're hiring your first VA, you need help with everything, but you can't hand someone everything because even you don't want to do everything.
Mhm.
So it's really important to give that person the the sort of view of, okay, there are certain things we all are going to have to do. I'm going to have to spend time talking about the website, and you're going to have to do it too. But if that's not your jam, let's figure out where you really want to go. And Regina and I have spent time talking about our goals, setting our work schedules. Like, I don't want her to work on Fridays. I don't want to work on Fridays, period. Because we made the mistake of having team meetings on Fridays. And then I realized, it's Friday night for you. You should be out. Go live your life. And she was like, no, no, no. I'm like, yeah, we're not having meetings on Fridays anymore. You're not allowed to work on Fridays. So we had to develop that.
So, well, I would summarize everything that you just said in that, you, and this is what I am trying to get across in the Front Row CEO program, is that um, the reason that the people, aside from the fact that we have a very, very strong and formulaic vetting process,
Mm,
but again, it is a system that you follow and we give you the exact directions to do so. The other thing that we teach, okay, that's only the first part, is hiring the person.
yeah.
Then what? Well, the magic that I think you have had with Regina is because, and I've told you this before, is that it just really delights me to see how very tuned in you are with whether or not she's happy, right? Like, you truly listen, you truly care, you really ask questions because you're really listening. And we give you some of those tools as well in Front Row CEO, in terms of, like, the best way to communicate, how to surprise and delight your virtual assistant. Because again, I love you use the word, the fact that you said that you don't talk to her in a way that is just transactional. Like, yeah, we got to do business. Like, we're here to do business. This is all about business. But so there is, there are to-do lists. And so I'm not, of course, like, that is, we're here to do business. But if we are just going to be transactional, let's just go to Upwork. let's just go to Fiverr and get a contractor for
Yeah.
this job and that job. But this isn't that. This is that person that is going to free you up, so that you don't have to do that stuff that you hate. I even hate saying the word hate, but that you just can't stand. And then freeing you up to serve more people doing that stuff that you love to do, which I know you particularly really love to get. You like to dig in deep with your clients. And this allows you to do that, right? Or I don't want to
It's
put words in
true.
your mouth.
It's true, because when I was, when Regina said, "Okay, well, I'm just going to be doing this from now on," I said, "Great, I'm not going to do these things anymore," because she has such a design eye. I didn't know that that was really going to be something that comes so easy to her. But boy, she's just wonderful at it. So I'm not allowed to go into Canva anymore. It's not a good use of my time. She can spend 10 minutes, I will spend 2 hours. So doing the math, Regina very nicely said, "Why are you doing that?" And I said, "We need to have a cultural conversation, because if you want me to hear what you're saying, you just need to say, 'Allison, don't do this anymore.'" And she said, "Okay, I will try, but that's really hard for me." And I said, "Well, I'll really try hard to listen." But since we had that conversation, I'm hearing her more, and she's able to be more direct with me. So that's one thing, is just totally empowering her. Like, that is your deal, but you have to document it, because if at some point you discover, buried treasure, I want you to go enjoy that, but someone has to take your place.
Right.
And
Um,
yeah, so she's doing that.
I love it. Question here. What was the investment to Front Row CEO worth to you, Allison?
Uh, well, let me tell you what I don't do. What I don't do anymore is sneak my laptop into family movie night in the living room and try and type really, really softly while I watch movies with my daughter. So it was worth the removing the heartbreak from my daughter's eyes,
Aw.
that I never seemed to be finished.
Mm-hmm.
And my kids thought that anytime I had my laptop out, I was working. Like, you're always working. So it's worth that. It's worth um, being able to my close my office door now and know that I'm not going to be sneaking in later. It's worth that. It's worth the fact that I actually get to get 8 hours of sleep.
Ooh,
Right.
that's
And
a big
Regina
one. Yeah.
required, I say Regina required, but she has put structure around my financial planning. So once a month we do a check-in, and we have a financial plan for the year. So it's
Wow.
worth that. Like, now I didn't have a business plan before I started this. My business sort of erupted because I left corporate America, but I have this, basket full of marketing skills that, and my want is to do good in the world, but I just don't want to sell more products that people don't need. So, but they do need empowering messages. So that's where I'm focused. So it's worth me being able to reach my mission faster and easier. And I'm guessing you also want to know financially, but I think I addressed that. Like, in 2 months, if you remember, Jen, I think we started on September 1st, right? Maybe had to be September. By the first week
Mhm.
in October, Regina was on board. So it was fast for me. But then again, I also, at that time, I think I hired a second one just to say, like, let me see who's going to stick. And when someone sticks, they stick right away, and it's definitely noticeable. the difference is definitely noticeable. And so the other one just, it wasn't the right fit. Not, terrible, just like this isn't her passion. And also, I cannot be in charge of giving people detailed directions on where to put periods. I'm an expert writer. I cannot be editing somebody's work for spelling. Like there are things that are just like
Right. Everybody has their line. Yeah.
non-negotiables.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, so by January, I had my best month ever times four. I mean, it was,
Well, look, just on the outside looking in and seeing like, all these book deals and agents that you're getting for like big book deals with big
deals.
publishing houses. I'm like in awe. So I'm like, wow, something's going really good over there in Allison Land. Well, I don't want to keep you all day because you've got a lot. You've got to go get back to your business. But I will ask you one last question, and then of course you could share anything that we forgot to talk about. But my last question for you is, what would you say to the folks who are on the fence about joining this program?
Okay. If you're on the fence about joining this program, then you are on the fence about growth. You are on the fence about, do you have a plan for your growth? Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't understand what the other side of that fence has for you. This is not just, hey, I'd like a VA. The VA is a tactic. If you don't want a VA, this isn't for you. What this is about is business growth. So for me, the putting the VA in place is tactical. But having access to Jen and her smarts and her connection, I guess her network of successful CEOs who have done this and grown exponentially is the greater value. Because when I tell her, hey, I'm having trouble doing this, how do you do it? And she'll say, why are you doing that at all? Stop doing that. Instead, do this. And then, of course, I followed her directions. And and so more so keeping me from continually doing something that maybe I didn't even know was keeping me from being available for bigger opportunities. So, for instance, I used to be available for like 1 hour consults. Book an hour with Allison. Happy to help you on your publishing journey. Well, Jen said, I don't understand why you're still doing that. And I was like, well, because I'm booked all the time. And she said, but you're not available to actually build anything bigger because you're booked all the time. You don't even have 2 consecutive hours. I was like, yeah. So the moment, I mean, literally like the week I pulled those from being available, as soon as I wasn't available, the people who really wanted to work with me in depth came out of the woodwork. You're not available anymore, but I want to be able to work with you, but not just for 1 hour.
That's right.
So that is how my small group program was born. Boom, the same week. So sometimes it's not about the one program, it's about connecting with the people who have been where you are, and they can help you catapult past the obstacles that you don't even know are there.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for this, Allison. Is there anything else before we go that you want to share that we didn't cover?
Well, I think if you're here for a reason, and you've outgrown your ability to build until you add a resource, because you can't do more. You don't get more hours, and you've already squeezed all the efficiency out of how you do everything. So if you do just add up the time that you are spending running the mechanics, and then compare that to how much time you are spending bringing in the revenue. If you're like me, you'll realize you're spending 2 or 2.5 days just doing mechanics. I don't do that anymore.
Hallelujah. Well, very well said. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You guys, if you want, if you're thinking about writing a book, and you want one of the best experts in the industry to help you get published, this is your person. Go to Allison Lane Literary.com, and you might not be able to get a 1 hour appointment with her, but she does have,
Right.
have these groups.
You can get a consult. And here's what I'll say. Most people don't realize they should be writing a book. If you are sitting on a program and it's successful, if you have a methodology that works and you have lead magnets that are free, you need something in between that gives people a step toward you without investing in your big program. And it is a natural extension of your portfolio. The other thing that a book does that owned media does not do, so owned media is advertising or your owned platforms like your website or your social, is that it gives you a halo effect of credibility that then you can use for speaking engagements that are paid, that you can use to get media opportunities, because if you have a book, you're automatically an expert, and the media will always want to feature you versus someone who doesn't have a book. So there's a lot of halo, or sort of third party endorsement is another marketing jargon that can come to you. But if you're sitting on a very successful content, you're
Go
sitting
to
on.
Allison.
Yeah.
All right, Allison, thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be doing this all day long, and I'm probably going to host some sort of impromptu in our pajamas, kind of like nighttime Zoom Q&A as well, because doors to the program do close tomorrow, and I don't want you to miss it. And I especially don't want you to not join because you had some unanswered questions. So I'm going to make sure we get all of those questions and doubts cleared up. And that's it. Allison, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.